Scaling Facebook ads is super simple. Yet most brands struggle to increase their budget without decreasing performance. That's why in this video, I will reveal my exact scaling framework for you to implement. My name is William and I've generated over 12 million in sales for 7 and 8 figure e-commerce brands with meta ad systems and performance creatives. With that having said, let's get straight into the video. So you're probably very familiar with this. You get some good performance, you think, okay, on this ROAS level, on this cost per acquisition level, I can work with it, I can scale. You try to scale, you overall increase the account budget, and then your performance drops and nothing works anymore. And then you might try horizontal scaling, vertical scaling, how to scale on Facebook, look for different media buying strategies to understand what to do. But exactly this is the problem. Because before you can scale, you actually have to understand how scaling works. If you increase the budget from, let's say, $100 per day to $200 per day, that means that Facebook has now to find twice as many people who convert at the same ROAS or at the same cost per acquisition. This means that the audience size must be double, but the type of your audience still has to be just as perfect as the smaller type so that they convert at the same effectiveness. Now this never happens because, well, the audience before was already optimized, and every other person who gets added to that audience, well, they are next likely to convert, but they're usually not as likely to convert from that given ad. So that means inevitably, if you scale, your ROAS will drop, your cost per acquisition will rise. But before I tell you how to solve this and how to scale anyway, let's quickly just talk about what you certainly should not do. First thing, you should not horizontally scale, just forget it. If you take and duplicate a campaign, it starts competing against the existing campaign, and maybe not immediately, but over time everything starts performing worse. The more you duplicate, the worse it gets. Now, if you think you duplicate just on the ad set level, it's really not any better, because now you essentially double the ad spend on that successful ad, and now again the audience that has to be just as perfect for that ad has to be twice as large. And if that's not the case, performance will drop again and the sales will just split between those ad sets. So what you always want to do instead is just vertical scaling. Very simple. If you're running CBO, just increase the CBO's budget by 10 to 20%. If you're running an ABO, just increase the budget of your successful ad set by 10 to 20%. You'll probably see that the performance dip is still there, because after all, Facebook now has to find a bigger audience that's just as efficient. Luckily not twice as large because you didn't just duplicate anything, but still 10 to 20% larger than before. So you will usually see a small performance dip, but once it's optimized, you can again increase it by 10 to 20% and keep going like that. Now at some point you will still see that, okay, I can't increase the budget anymore because the ROAS is not at the target, or it's just at the target, and if it dips, it really gets not that profitable. Well, if that's the case for a long time, you actually know, okay, this ad actually reached its scalability limit. That means Facebook found all the people who are convertible at your target with this ad. Now the good news is that every single ad targets its own audience. So if you have an ad that got to its limit, it doesn't mean that you can't scale anymore. If you want to scale more, you just have to make an ad that appeals to another segment of your audience, ideally to a bigger, broader audience within your audience, and that ad will be able to take even more budget while performing at your target. And that you can do over and over again. So essentially the key to scaling is not horizontal scaling or vertical scaling, even though we scale vertically, but by adding ads that can take so much budget, that can appeal to such a broad audience without dipping in performance. This is why I often say you can scale only via ad creatives. So now that you know that all that stands in your way to scale to your next revenue level is just making ads that make you scale to that level. If you want me to deliver winning ads for you on a regular basis, click the link in the description and book a free call with me. But if you want to try it yourself, watch this video where I explain how I make winning ads consistently. Keep scaling, bye!